Welcome to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Solo. More than just a booking app, we're a community for independent pros in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to real stories of success from the industry's finest and share practical advice to help your business flourish. At Solo, we understand the journey of working independently, and our goal is to connect, empower and inspire you. We're here to make sure that even though you work solo, you're never truly alone. In today's episode, we talked to Sarah Betson, a nail tech who moved her business from London to Devon. We discussed starting afresh, adapting marketing strategies, and building a supportive community in two distinct locations. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks.
Why don't you kick off by kind of telling us how you got into the industry?
I got into the industry, I guess, quite not late on in life, but not as a first career. Initially, I was a maternity nurse and a doula. And then 4 years ago, I had my son. I went back to work as a doula and it just wasn't the same. I just felt like I needed a change. And I've always loved nails. I just didn't really know if I could make a career out of it. So I did a course and thought I'd see how I go. And yeah, I'm still kind of gobsmacked about how well it has gone since I started. I mean, don't get me wrong. It took me, a good year to get anywhere. And so many different stages of that. You've just finished your training and you don't know what you're doing. You're completely alone and, you're just practicing on yourself and all your friends. I started off working at home, and then I realised that perhaps I should do a bit of salon work just to work around others and get some experience, which I did. And then I was, again, just based at home, and that's when things started to really get busy. And then I took a job at Dry-By in London, which was amazing. So I was part-time there, part-time at home. And then I started also doing session work, which was really just a really nice, fun kind of another element of what I do. And then quite quickly, we decided we wanted to move to Devon. So I've been here for 6 months now and I'm starting from scratch. I'm getting there, but, I'm building from nothing. So obviously I learned a few things from building the business before in London, but it's so different down here. Instagram in London is everything. Here it's Facebook and word of mouth and, mums on the school run and just talking to people. So yeah, I've got a little room that I rent in a skin clinic. And I've been open for about 9 weeks now.
What a journey. How did you get the job at Dry-By?
I think they put something on their Instagram stories about looking for staff. And at the time, I was doing really, really well just at home. I was 5 days a week and I was happy, but it was Dry-By. and it intrigued me. So I think I applied and I didn't hear anything. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was chatting to Matea, who is an amazing, incredible nail technician. And she was doing, I think, she's always doing things alongside Dry-By. And Matea said, oh, Dry-By are hiring. I said, I know. I said, I applied but I haven't heard anything yet. And she said, I'm sure they'll get in touch. And then when Christina from Dry-By, the founder, when she contacted me, she actually said that they had so many applicants. And I think my name and my business name were different back then. I'm still Sarah Betson now, but before I was Mauve Manicures, and obviously my name was Sarah Betson. Anyway, there was a confusion and Christina didn't know, couldn't put the two and two together. And Matea said, Sarah Betson, that's who you should choose. And so, yeah, I went in, I did a phone call interview first, and then I went in and I wasn't even trained in biosculpture then. I was doing gel bottle. So I really didn't think I would actually get the job. But they trained me up. Honestly, it was invaluable working there. I mean, Christina herself, just to be able to speak to her is incredible. She's such an amazing businesswoman. And it's just such a fabulous place to work for any self-employed individual. they're so supportive as you as a business, not just you working for them. And it opens lots of other doors. They do events. That's what gave me the courage to start when I was looking for session work to, just put myself out there and contact other people. I was really, really sad to leave Dry-By. When I left London, I even contemplated commuting, which is insane because I live about 6 hours away. I was like, I could come up the night before and it just wouldn't be viable. But it's just such a mixture of things. And the people that work there are lovely. It was just, working in Mayfair, and it's lovely. It's fun, and it just made me feel young. Obviously, I was the oldest manicurist there, but hey ho, to the mother hen.
How did you get your first 20 clients when you first opened your personal business in London working from home?
Initially, Instagram. And then I realised that I could be on Google Maps, and that really, really helped. If I was going to get a manicure or anything, I would just type into Google, manicure near me. Just coming up on there really helps. And then obviously you just need good pictures and good reviews. So any client you have to say in the beginning at least, or would you mind leaving me a review? And now I'm a little bit more relaxed about Instagram. I think probably more so because I'm in Devon now. And I do have clients that have contacted me in Devon from Instagram still, but I'm aware that it's also more about just talking to people. And in Devon, if you hand out a flyer and talk to someone, they come in with the flyer. Whereas in London, I feel like when I was flyering, they were just like, yeah, thanks. And they weren't taking it in
the recycling.
Yeah. So it's very different here. But yeah, Instagram, I think initially was the main driving force when I was in London.
Did you have like an Instagram strategy? Did you think sort of, I need to get this sort of content. This is the sort of thing I need to get once I've finished a client. This is the sort of thing I need to post. What was the kind of thinking behind your Instagram feed?
When I very first started, I was so fussy about what I posted because I was so scared that anyone might spot that I was quite new or anything like that. And then I quickly realised that unless I was spending every night doing my own nails 5 times over and taking those pictures, I wasn't going to have enough content to be posting regularly enough. So when a client would leave, I'd have to remember to ask them if I could do pictures. Whereas in the beginning, when you're a little bit slower than perhaps I am now, you feel like you don't want to keep them there any longer, but you just have to try and get that shot of each client you have. I would do stills and a video and try and do a reel with that as well so that I could spread it out a little bit. Now I just do a shot and maybe a small video and I just put it as a post. And I'm not sure which works better, to be honest. And I think also just knowing your audience. I think what I found in London, I thought, maybe I could fill some of the space with more personal stuff. And it just wasn't appealing to anyone. Whereas down in Devon, if I'm on a walk with my dog and I take a picture, or if I'm out with my son at the weekend and take pictures, they seem to love it. So I think it's just depends. Just got to know your area and what people want to see. And, if you put a few things out there and they don't work, then you've learned from that.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I was looking at your Instagram, just those photos of, the sea. That is so aspirational to me. I love it. I love seeing that. I mean, the images that you post of your nails are incredible. They look so professional. What's the kind of technology that you use? Is it just an iPhone? What's the lighting setup?
You can tell when you're taking your shots that when you can take a shot and think, oh, that's okay, I could edit it and make it look better. Or you can take a shot and think, oh, that's really good. I can literally just tweak it. I like a slightly darker look on my pictures. So I edit them on my iPhone. And that first thing I do normally, because I use a lot of light in the picture, whether it's daylight or a lamp. I use that light to make the picture look good. And then when I edit it on my iPhone in your photos, I turn the exposure down just because I personally like that look of picture. So I will just edit it myself. Sometimes I might play around with the tone or with the tint, maybe sometimes take a little bit of pink away from the hands. Sometimes I use an app called Retouch, which is really, really helpful. Just cleans it up nicely.
They look so good, even just the angles and stuff. What's the thinking behind, how you get your clients to position their hands? Honestly, they look so good. Your feed's incredible.
It's tricky because sometimes you just have a client who you'll say, can I take a picture of my hand? And the way they hand you their hand that it's going to look good. Or you get someone who goes, yeah, and they hold their hands like this and you think, oh, okay. But I think the key is to just tell them to relax their hand and hold their hand with yours. And then you can kind of move their hand to where you want it to be. And then whether you remove your hand from the shot or keep your gloved hand in, as long as they kind of keep still, then it should work. Lighting is everything. That's the tricky bit. That's why at the moment, I just need to find that spot, because hands are tricky to shoot as it is. Even if you've got perfect nails, beautiful hands, if the lighting's not right, they just don't look good. So it's making the client feel comfortable as well, and just trying to make it look a bit more relaxed. Then it's really easy to just get like a claw shot of a hand, and I just take tons of pictures. My phone's absolutely chocker and I forget to delete them. So I've got more pictures of nails than my family on my phone.
Yeah, they just look pretty elegant. You can tell that kind of the relaxation is the key to that elegant look, kind of not, as you said beforehand.
I think people think, I must hold my hands, my fingers as straight as possible, but that just looks rigid. So just that slight relaxation is good.
Are you just walking around your studio at the moment, just holding your hands out, looking for that good spot of light?
Yeah. And you want the light behind you. But then you've got your hands in front of you. So you're trying to get your shadow out of the picture, and it's really tricky.
Time of day as well. Oh my goodness. So much to think about.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you kind of balance all of that? How do you balance, having to be a content creator, a marketing manager? Is there like a schedule that you have to make sure that you get everything done in your week?
I keep on thinking I need a schedule, but actually I think at the moment where I'm still building, I have a bit more free time than I will when I'm really, really busy. I usually get my shots, and then in the evening after my son's gone to bed, I'll be editing and creating posts and then saving them. And then the next day, if I'm going to post that day, I will post first thing in the morning, say 8:30ish, and then put a story up as well. In the post, there might be 2 images and a video, and then I'll slowly post those on my stories throughout that day as well. I tag as many people as I can who are, from the products that I've used in the shot and things like that. And if they then post them, it all helps. Someone called me the other day and I said, how did you hear about me? And she said, Biosculpture shared one of your posts, and so I found you from that. So you just never know where people might, come out from, and then that could end up being a long-term client of yours. And so it is always worth doing as much as possible towards the business. And I think at the moment I'm finding I'll have one really, really jam-packed busy week at work, and then the next week I will be really, really quiet. And I had this in London as well. And I've realized it's because when I'm quiet, I am doing all of my social media. I'm posting and posting and posting. People are seeing, they're booking. So the next week is chocker. And when I'm chocker, I don't have time to do the social media.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? There's the side of taking these beautiful photos, but then there's who you tag, the hashtags, what the captions are and things like that. Do you have any sort of strategy for turning your posts into actual bookings? So you mentioned those tags and things like that. Is there anything else that you do to make sure that it's not just likes on an image, but actually money in your pocket?
To turn it into bookings, I try as often as possible to put on when I do a story, to put a link with book here so that they can click straight through to Solo. And that really works as well, because even though it's the link is in your profile, even though they might be looking at the picture thinking, I'm going to book that, and then they might have a little mooch, but don't actually do it. If that button is there, and it's just easy for them to just go, let's just click on and maybe see what her prices are, or let's just click on and have a further read. And then even if 1 out of 5 people that do that books, then it's something. You just have to, as much as possible, make it as easy as possible for people to book. Because I know what I'm like when I'm thinking about booking something. I will have a mooch around, and if there's a book here, you do just click on and think, okay, well, I'm here now, I might as well book it.
Yeah.
You just need to make it as easy as possible. Always tag your locations, make sure people know where your area is. Here specifically, it's a real community that it's such a smaller population to London. The talk travels a lot faster and there's far less nail technicians to talk about. It swings and roundabouts. I mean, obviously, there's just tons more people in London, so that's going to bring you more business. But as a nail technician, again, you can only do so many nails in a day. So all you need really is your regular clients. And then, sometimes I get people come in who say, oh, I'm on holiday this week, but I Googled it, so I'm just popping in to get a manicure, which is great. But you want your regulars, you want your locals. So, yeah.
What was your kind of plan of action when you first moved to Devon and had to essentially restart your business right from the beginning?
I kind of thought, I've done it before, I'll do it again, it'll be fine. And I didn't really take into account how different it would be down here. Initially, I thought I would work from home, but we're renting. It's kind of really open plan. And my husband works from home as well. It just wasn't working. And plus, I live in a quite small seaside village. So anyone, apart from people who live in this small village, would have to drive here, and perhaps it wouldn't be that convenient for people. So then I thought, okay, maybe I'll look for a room, which is really daunting when you've got no clients, because you have to immediately start paying rent on somewhere and get clients immediately. So I knew my first strategy would be school mums, because my little boy goes to preschool. So I got some flyers done, handed them out around school, and I did manage to quite quickly get a handful of clients who who are regular type of ladies. Every 2 to 3 weeks they want to get their nails done. So that, for me, that was amazing. And just having them, I knew that if I opened 2 days a week, I was very lucky to find the room that I found, especially it being part of a skin clinic. So I knew I had enough. Even if I just had them, at least I could pay my rent. So after that, it was Instagram, Facebook, flyers. I didn't even want to do flyers. I thought, they don't work. But actually down here, they've really, really worked. Joining solo. So I knew that when I left London, I knew already that I wanted to join solo, just from the girls that I know that use it and have all sung its praises. So that's been great, because you get your holding page, the design's so easy, it's done for you. You just need your content, really, which if you've got an Instagram, you should have anyway. Also, you get marketing tools. I ran a discount code for new customers, I think 20% off. I went in guns blazing to this small town.
I've arrived.
Yeah. My room in Alchemy, the skin clinic, is in a slightly bigger town, and it's worked. People, I think, know that I'm there now. I'm not, I don't have passing trade, and my room's at the back of a clinic that's not on the high street. So I don't get people walking past going, oh yeah, I'll get a manicure, which obviously would be amazing. I just had a list of things I needed to do, and I just blitzed through them, and it gave it a really good kickstart. And then I think what happens is all of a sudden it starts to die down again, and you think, oh, what can I do now? And just targeting, people that you think would be interested in what you're providing. And I've had a lot of girls come, travel quite far, really, because there's not that many places around here that do biosculpture. I've had, people come from Plymouth, which is about an hour away.
Oh my goodness.
I know, just because they wanted biosculpture, and it's coming together slowly. Yeah.
So was it that 20% offer that you kind of put on the flyers and initially went out with when you first launched?
Yeah, I did a 20% off for new customers, which is ongoing actually. Initially I thought, well, should I put a cap on for how long it goes on for? But I just left it open. And to be honest, I think if someone arrives and said, oh, I tried to, I wanted to use the code, but I forgot to put it in, of course I don't mind if it's their first time. And again, I use the reward scheme. So if after 6 bookings, they get £10 off their next appointment, which is really nice. I've just had a few people use that, and I'm like, it's nice to know they've been back, 7 times now. That's a real achievement. It's good to have all these little things that you can add on. It is worth doing. I've even put myself down on raffles where you can win a manicure with me. I did an Instagram competition with alongside Alchemy Clinic, which is where I'm linked to. So there were 2 prize winners for that. You got one chose a manicure, one chose a pedicure. There's lots of beautiful hotels around here, but there's lots of small ones that don't have a spa or a beauty room. So perhaps I'll go and drive around there and flyer and say, if you ever get anyone ask if you know where they can get their nails done, to hand out my details. There's lots of makeup artists around here that do weddings, are massive in Devon. I've opened up tomorrow, especially for a wedding. I don't normally work weekends, but I've got a few brides and bridesmaids in. So
that's so interesting how it's just so different, like raffles and things.
I know, it's so different.
How did you kind of, find what the things that you need to be doing in a new location are? Was it just research or?
I got really lucky, and my best friend from who I went to school with, she kind of got the down low for me, and she's like, right, this is what you've got to do. So mostly initially it was through the school and the mums and and some of the mums here, they'll drop their kids off and then they go off and work in Plymouth or Exeter, or some of them are local. And so it spreads the word wider than you would think, just chatting to people. I think I just got lucky. One of her friends also, deals with Instagram and marketing. And she was like, for this area, this is what you need to do. She was like, forget what you know about London. I was like, no, but it works so well. And she was like, no, you need to do this, this and this. No, she said, you need to put a flyer in the local shop. And I was like, really? In the window? And I was like, really? She was like, put an ad in the paper. And I was like,
did you put an ad in the paper?
These things just work. The Gazette, who knew?
Yeah.
But in London, I would never think to do any of that. So I think you just got to, know your area. This mum from school who had all this golden information for me, she just works from home, but she's still, employed by people in London, has got her finger on the pulse, and she knows all of the things that you need to do. So I think, just speak to as many people as you can, and be open and vulnerable as well. You don't have to pretend that you're super busy all the time, or I'm quite open with my clients in Devon that I'm really new. I've just arrived. I don't know the area as well as some people, and I think there's always a certain amount of fake it till you make it. Don't get me wrong. I faked it a lot along the way, because you do need to get yourself into situations sometimes where you feel uncomfortable to learn stuff. And sometimes it will turn out great. Other times you'll come away thinking, oh my God, that was really stressful, but you learn stuff. And I think you just do need to always be doing that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty, isn't it, of working somewhere that does seem to be so sort of community focused. You can really just take that and just harness the power of that community, and word of mouth being so much stronger than it would ever be in London, where no one talks to their neighbours.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've managed to get all these people in through word of mouth, but you mentioned that, you're also doing well with getting clients coming back and, people redeeming their schemes. How do you ensure that people keep coming back and that your retention is high?
I don't hound my clients after they've had a manicure. When I first started, I did follow up with some clients, just said, just to let you know, I've just noticed it's nearly 3 weeks since your last appointment. Would you like to book again? And actually they all did book again, which was lovely. But I did feel uncomfortable doing that. I don't want to push people into booking. I always ask for a review when they leave. I always give them aftercare instructions. you can only hope initially that they come back. I think you can kind of tell when you're doing someone's nails, whether they're the type of person who are just having a one-off, or whether they really are like someone who regularly has their nails done. And if they do regularly, then I would think, okay, maybe I'll give them a message. And if they say, I don't think they say, oh, I didn't like my nails, I'm not coming back. But if perhaps they just don't have time for it, or, you know, they're just too busy to book, then they would just say, oh, I'm busy at the moment. But it's okay. I think it's okay to put yourself out there and say that. And also having a reward scheme, and I haven't set it up yet, but there's a refer a friend.
Yeah.
I know that they're going to really, really love. I just need to sit down and look at it for a minute before I start saying it. But I think that will be really, really helpful as well, because I think you get a reward on both sides. So my regular girls will be like, right, let's go. Because, you know, it's expensive getting your nails done every 2 weeks.
That would work so well in your area.
Again, it's just different, isn't it? In London, my friends were everywhere. So if someone said to me, oh, there's a refer a friend, I might have a few local people that I would give that to. But a lot of my friends wouldn't be coming to the same place as me anywhere. Whereas here, this is it. You know, there are other nail technicians around who are very busy, by the way. I'm intrigued as to how busy they are. I think things like that do work really well around here.
What are some of your goals going forward? Any exciting plans? I know you've literally just started.
Obviously, I need to nail where I am right now. I need to be a little bit busier. You know, I have set myself goals, and I'm already, you know, initially was to break even, and I'm already, you know, after rent and expenses, I'm okay. I would like to be at full capacity for the days that I'm renting the room. And then I'd like to take more days on after that. And then I'm just going to see how it goes. I think at the moment we haven't bought a house yet. So I think it will depend where we actually move to. Initially, I was thinking, oh, we'll buy a house and I'll have a cabin in the garden, and that's what it will be. But actually now it's nice to get in my little car and drive into the town I don't work every day. You know, I have a son, I don't work weekends. But it's nice to have that to go to. So whether I will do that eventually, I don't know now. I'm just going to see.
Sounds like it was like a real journey of discovering how you thought things were going to be and what things were actually like. And it sounds like there were loads of sort of pleasant surprises along the way.
At first, I was like, oh no, I've got this all wrong. I just came with like the same plan I did in London, thinking, oh, this is fine. I've done it before. I'll do it again. I was just flummoxed. Like everyone kept on going, no, don't do it. No one's interested in that here. I'm like, what? But. And they were right. So just going to take advice off people. So it probably took me a bit longer because I initially probably didn't take that advice and just thought I knew what I was doing. But I think I did in some respects, but definitely taking other people's locals' advice worked.
What was your biggest fear before becoming a self-employed beauty professional?
That I wouldn't be very good. Because, and I can imagine for lots of nail technicians, you have to be a bit of a perfectionist. So it was really hard in the beginning, because it's hard to get them as good as you want to get them. One of the reasons I wanted to do it is because I generally would go and have my nails done and think, oh, they're not quite perfect. And that's what I wanted to provide. I'm not saying every manicure I do is perfect, but I wanted to be able to, you know, be at a standard that I would be happy with. And I think I am to do that. But I was petrified. I was petrified of people going away and going, oh, they're okay. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it matters, I think. You know, I think if you're going to do something, you want to be good at it. And I was good at what I did for 20 years as a nurse. And I left that. I didn't even care if I only had 2 clients, as long as they were happy.
What are your 3 main pieces of advice then for setting up business again when moving to a new location?
So my top one would be knowing your location, knowing your area, or what your new customer's going to be like, and don't just think it will be the same as where you were before. Also, just putting yourself out there and not be afraid to say I do, you just speaking to people as much as you can, because you get knowledge from them as well. I mean, speaking to people because you're trying to find customers, but also to get that knowledge from them, because they will so often go, oh, have you tried this? Or, oh, have you heard of such and such a place? And, maybe you could drop some flyers there. All these little bits of gold you need to collect off the people that are around you, because they do know, even though they might not be in your industry, they know their area and their people and how they work, and you've got to listen to them because it does work. My other one is just to have a plan, but you can make it flexible too, and just be really proactive. Don't just go okay and sit back and wait for it to come to you. You have to keep going and think, what else can I do? Or fine, I'll go and flyer again, and take all of the information off everyone that they give you. And if it means putting an ad in your local paper, or flyering, or going to a yoga class that you might not normally go to and catching all of the women afterwards, just do it because it works. And just being approachable.
Yeah.
If
you could give yourself one bit of advice at the beginning of your journey, what would it be?
It's okay to ask for help, I think, and use that kind of community that's on Instagram is amazing for that. And initially when I started, I just found it really intimidating. But once I kind of, been brave enough to maybe message a few nail technicians, or start, communicating with people in the industry, they're all so helpful and so nice. And, when you're working solo, you need a community around you. And I probably didn't have that in the beginning, just because I just thought they wouldn't reply or wouldn't pay you any attention, but no one has ever not replied, or even been short with me. They've always been, if you've got a question, they answer. They don't gatekeep. They share that and get you prepped.
I love that. I mean, yeah, it's what we always speak of, that, community is so, so, so important when you are working alone. And we're so lucky to have such a wonderful community in beauty. So yeah, there's really nothing to be scared of to get involved.
Yeah, exactly. It's not competition. It's just, we're colleagues kind of, but we don't work together.
But so nice chatting to you, Sarah. Thank you so, so, so much. And it's been so interesting hearing about the differences moving from London to Devon, and just kind of having to change that mindset and the way you work. So thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast app. If you like the episode, why not leave a review or share it with a beauty industry friend? And if you're curious about Solo, you can download it for free on the App Store or Google Play and take advantage of our free trial.